Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Ash back again with a new video. I hope you guys enjoyed the weekend. Today we're going to quickly rapid fire go through all the games of the rounds, top 3 fantasy performers of each game, and how my fantasy team did over the weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's get straight into the video. First game of the weekend, we had the Broncos beating the Sharks 16-7. Top 3 fantasy performers, we had Nico Hines with 66, Cam McGinnis with 60, and Britton Okora with 59. Crazy showing from the Broncos here to get the dub. Next game, we had the Panthers beating the Titans 18-4. Unfortunately, the Titans coming up against the big dogs at a comp. Top 3 fantasy performers in this one, we had Nathan Cleary with 70, Isaiah Yeo with 63, and Big Tino with 60. Next game of the weekend, we had the Rabbits versus the Seagulls. Top 3 fantasy performers in this one, DC was 72, Cody Walker was 68, got some cash to make there, and Tommy Burgess was 63. Next game, and probably the craziest game. We had the Warriors just pipping the Raiders 21-20. Volcano Ricky's about to erupt. I feel so sorry for you boys, Raiders fans, man. Like, that was such a tough game. Either way, like, we did not play anywhere close to our potential, and I'm pretty sure you guys didn't either. We're just lucky to get away with the win. Top 3 fantasy performers on this one. Ewan Aiken was 77, Jackie Whiten with 56, and Wade Egan, who's been playing pretty well for us, 53. One of the biggest upsets of the weekend, we had the Bulldogs beating the Roosters 16-12. Top 3 fantasy performers, we had Tedesco with 81, and hopefully that's the start of a streak there. Angus Crichton with 66, and TPJ with 54. Possibly the best performance of the weekend, we had the Cowboys beating the Eels 35-4. Top 3 fantasy performers, we had Ruben Cotter with 71, Robson with 63, Madison with 61. Amazing game from Ruben Cotter in this one. So another big showing from the Storm. We had the Storm beating the Knights 50-2. Top 3 fantasy performers, we had Justin Olam with 76, David Clement with 71, Money Munster was 62. And last game of the weekend, which I thought was a cracking game by both teams, we had the Dragons versus the Tigers. We had the Dragons winning 12-6. Top 3 fantasy performers, we had Lukey Brooks with 77, Jackson Hastings with 76, and Twal with 65. And it was a really close matchup. So this is how my team performed over the weekend. We scored 771 points in round 8. Not the biggest score overall. There's probably a couple of teams out there that have probably scored really, really well this week, but a lot of like players that we expected to play pretty decently did not really perform to their standards. So my overall score is 6,264. Overall ranked is 27,000, still around that 27. I'm hoping to move forward, but I'm getting stuck in that logjam at the moment. And round 8 rank, we got 41,000. It was not a great showing from my team this weekend, but I do look up and up a couple of decent trades that in my opinion, that I brought in. I will be looking at maybe a hooker this weekend. And yeah, seeing which guys I can put in. Pretty happy. We'll go through, my team, but we have a couple of boys in the reserves that perform really freaking well. And as I said, I bought into the Isaiah Tass hype. Obviously, listening to the boys, The Bloke in a Bar and Rugby League Guru, saying his praise, and man, like, I feel like he should lock down that center role for the Rabbits, and now it's up to the Rabbits whether they keep Mansour or go Milne on the wing. So, I'm hoping he builds a whole lot of cash for me. I think he's another one of those young wingers like Penasini, Tago, and him, like Taylor May. You got all those young boys that now, like back in the day, it'll take a couple of weeks, maybe a month, before young boys can really show their talent and that. These days, man, these young boys, they got so much confidence and they're just coming out in the field and just tearing up. So this is why I picked him in really early. I think the centers at the moment that are coming through juniors are looking really, really good. So I'm definitely keeping him around my squad and see how he goes for the weekend. So wing fullback position, as I said, Teddy had a decent game with 81 points, and I appreciate having him in my squad. I do expect him to keep going up and up from here. I think he's starting to warm in the comp. I think the Roosters need him to keep performing at that standard, even though they got the loss this weekend. I think, he's going to be trying to grab the game by the balls and really just provide all those points in fantasy. So I'm happy that I have him early on. We'll have to see how he goes. Stephen Crichton with 28, not too crazy, but I do expect this out of him. Obviously, with the Panthers, it's either one side or the other, and when they freaking blow teams out, it could be both. So depending how it goes, 28's not too bad. And Stephen Crichton, he's a stud of a player. Like, I don't expect him to do this too much. Obviously I had thoughts of trading him out early on, but We'll have to see how we go anyway. Nico Hines was 66. Again, like, it was a weird game against the Broncos. He had a couple of errors in this one. I think about 3 errors, and he still scored 66. So definitely keeping him around. I think he's one of the buys of the season. Penasini with Tago, pretty much getting around that 38 to 40. Both players played okay. Penasini, it was a bit tough to shine in that performance over the weekend because the Cowboys just played so well. Tago, he's always there. 40 points, not too bad. I think that keeps around his average. But, you know, you've seen so many good things out of him. Cleary, 140 with captain, so I think he got 70 points overall. He had a really good showing. Again, he could have got a little bit more maybe, but I'm so happy to have Cleary in my squad, so it is what it is. Brad Snyder with 24, not the best game of the weekend, but overall, like, fuck. How do you have a best game when both those teams, I think they coughed up about 40 errors altogether in that game. I'm just so happy the Warriors got the win in that one and just move on, look forward. Nanai with 46, the young stud. He's going to be up and down, I reckon, with fantasy. Like, obviously, last week I think he scored around the 30s and 46 this week. But if the Cowboys keep playing the way they did in their defense, they turned up for each other. You know, I could expect decent scores out of him still. Liam Martin with 35. Not much really to say. Basically, I think that's just one of his weeks. It is what it is. He's such a hard worker. I don't see him really dropping down too far, so I'm going to keep him around. So these are probably my biggest gripes of the weekend. So, like, AFB didn't score too well at all. 28. He didn't really play too much either. Like, he did, but he didn't. I think, as I said, that game, we can just chuck that game in the trash. Keep moving on. We just got the win, and I'm proud of us for that. You know, we've had a couple of games like that this season, but I just want us to keep moving on. Big Payne Haas with 43. He's carrying an AC joint injury at the moment. The reason why he didn't get too much game time. 43 is not too bad still on that because, fuck, man, he is a freak. I'm not too sure what the injury report is with him, whether he's going to be out for a couple of weeks to rest up that shoulder, but we'll have to see what comes out of it. If he's out for a longer period of time, maybe looking at trading him out and bringing someone else in for that time period. If he stays in the squad, then I'll just put him on the reserves or emergency for a little bit and see how we go. So Brendan Smith was my first big trade of the weekend. So Kurt Mann, I used to have him that just before the weekend, but trade him out, Brendan Smith in. I just see, you know, I know he's not getting crazy a lot of minutes, and I honestly believe that because of that, the showing against the Knights on the weekend, he didn't get too many minutes either way, especially having Josh King and Harry Grant out there. But I do believe around Origin period, he will pick up his cash, and like, I don't see him really losing too much of a big role in that team. So 27 is not too, like, it's shit to start with, but I do believe for 487k, like, he's got more and more for me. So I'm just going to wait for him to build cash. And Chrissy Randall holding down the squad at the top with 50 points. I have nothing, like, you know, I love Randall. I think he's been playing awesome. Hopefully we'll have to see how we go, whether we trade someone else out to pick up a hooker or we keep old Randall around there. So as you see at the top there, I got 275k. So we're looking at a hooker this weekend. I saw a couple of comments saying I need a gun hooker. I do agree with you. But Randall, I appreciate, like, you know, the efforts that he's been building, and he's built a whole lot of cash for me. So Harrington was 17. He's been a bit of a disappointment at the moment. He's at 421. I want to keep holding on because he is in that starting 13 role, and I do see it in him, but I just don't know. 17's nothing crazy. Max King with 37. I think he's going to get more and more minutes. Like, in that forward pack, he is a stud, man. Like, 37 is what it is for fantasy, but as a Bulldogs, if you watch the Bulldogs play, I think he's instrumental around that forward pack. Your forwards took it to the Roosters forwards in this game, so. Tulangi with 40, he had a cracker of a game, even came off with a HIA, came back on, so he could have performed for 80 minutes if it wasn't for that, I don't think, so 40 is really, really good for that. And Blake Taff with 31, probably see him getting more and more, maybe coming up to the weekends, but 31, it is what it is like. So Xavier Coates is in my emergency, probably someone I'm going to switch into my wing fullbacks later on. 52, pretty good. He's building cash now. He's really getting up that cash, so I could look at trading him out later on or keeping him for around, see how we go. Cooler with 26. I think against the Rabbits that weekend, it's a bit tough. Like, you know, I think he gets more and more game time, and I think he becomes a better player. His defense is actually not too bad too, so keep an eye on him. Isaiah Tass with 51, amazing game for the first week. I think he scored a try as well, and he performed really well. So definitely looking at bringing him into my centers positions and maybe pushing Tago up to my edges and see how we play this game. But we'll have to see how we go anyway. And Wishart, he only played a small amount of minutes, had an error with 7 points. Not too bad though. Like, he only played like a couple of minutes, and with people like Brendan Smith and Josh King and Harry Grant, it's a bit tough to get on that field. So yeah, boys, as I said before, if you look up in the top left, we got salary remaining is 275k. I'm thinking of looking around for a hooker and maybe getting another half to cover for Snyder. Maybe, I don't know. We're still on looking around what we're gonna do. Hooker is definitely number one on the list. So trying to think about who's gonna be traded out for that hooker position. Probably just trading out Randall, unless maybe trading out Kobe Hetherington. I should have enough to maybe, if I traded Kobe Hetherington, to get Reed Marnie. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. I'm looking at, so 3 hookers I'll look at is obviously Reed Marnie. If I have enough cash for someone big like a freaking Harry Grant, maybe I'll look at him. Or a Tom Starling, who actually performed okay over the weekend, even though he didn't start the game. So he still scored decent in fantasy. I don't know how much Ricky will keep doing that. That's the thing about Starling. Like I like how everyone's picked him up, but I don't know. Like Ricky's got some crazy decisions going on right now, just because the Raiders aren't clicking. So I don't know. But yeah, comment down below your thoughts on the team, who you reckon I should bring in on the weekend, and how you guys did over the weekend. And I appreciate every single one of you who's clicking on my video. We're 111 subscribers. Peace out.